All right, good morning. This is X looking for some assistance here. What I'm trying to do is mimic something I've seen a couple other server operators do, specifically Ryan on Restoria. He's doing some cool stuff he's always doing cool stuff, but he's doing some cool stuff that I kind of want to mimic because I want my players to be able to play on smaller maps that have, say, less things interfering with gameplay. So in other words, what I'm really trying to do is combine Outpost and Bandit Camp, at least for now. We'll start with that, um, while still calling it a procedural map. So let's start with this. Um, if we look at my history here, we've got Restoria. He's saying he's running a procedural map, right? So if we, and this is where you and I think have a different opinion. Procedural map, you're saying that if I rename a file or do some specific stuff to make that, dork around or whatever, that will ultimately, that I can do the same thing relatively easily. Um, I've tried a ton of different things to try and make this work, and I just can't. The only thing that I haven't tried recently was replacing an edited file on my server with the rename, with an editing a map that's already been downloaded and created by my server and just dropping it back on the server, and without using a level URL in order to sponsor that or host that file. The caveat I see with that, and perhaps in this video we will prove me wrong, is that the clients won't know that they need to download um, a file, and they will generate an edited or a non-edited version client side that has Bandit Camp. The maps won't match. They'll have a CRC error, and it'll kick me off. That's what I'm expecting to happen. But anyway, so I am on that Restoria server that was procedurally generated. You can see it's a pretty standard procedural map, but there is something obvious missing. As I mentioned, there's no Bandit Camp on this map. He's got some add-ons to Outpost. I'm thinking he's using like Monument Plus or something like it. Knowing Ryan, he's probably roll his own. But ultimately, he's got a combined Outpost with zero Bandit Camp. Um, so that's the big thing we're trying to achieve here, is this right here. So let me go ahead and disconnect, and we will load up my server. So I had done this already, and then I realized I had no audio. So I'm going to stop this server, and for the sake of completeness, thank you. For the sake of completeness, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to manually wipe the server. This is a complete test server. It has nothing going on it. So the only thing, as you can see here, is my file folder structure. We're in server, my server identity and config. Yeah, I know, it's really unique. So within my server config file, I'm going to completely delete, or I'm going to comment out level URL. But we're going to, create a generally generic procedural map, 3000 size, whatever the heck seed I just typed, and save and exit, and we're going to start this guy up. So it'll take a hot minute to start up, so I'm going to pause so you don't have to sit here and watch my console run. Well, maybe you'll want to, so maybe I'll just let you skip through it. You can see, save file, surprise, you saw me wipe. Okay, we should be running now. So I'm going to go back to my history, and we're going to go take this nuclear test. You can see procedural map 20 seconds old, not a giant shocker, but just for the sake of completeness of the video, we're going to load it and show that we've got Bandit Camp.
Off. Mic feedback on.
Here we
Mic
are.
on.
We're loaded on the beach of my new server here. We've got Bandit Camp, we've got outposts, and on my relatively small map, and we are all set. So, yep, I'm going to go ahead and shut this guy off. And step one, we are going to FileZilla to my Rust server. Update that. This is the file we just created. That silly, crazy seed. We're going to download that. We're going to reopen up Rust Edit because I'm really awesome. Apparently close that. And remember, the thing we're going to do here, and you specifically told me don't edit anything other than just deleting the entity. Any other type of additions, changes, etc. will require rustedit.dll, which I do have on my server, but it will ultimately make the it will flag the map as edited. So I'm going to load, so select procedural map that is in my downloads from today. We're going to open that guy up. All right. So here we are. We're in Rust Edit. Bandit Camp's right where we had it. Outpost is right where we had it. I'm going to go over here. Get out of the ground and highlight, delete. And that's it. File, save. There's my file name. And I'm not going to exit this because if I need to redo things, that would be challenging. Okay, so this is pre-refresh 12.14, 12.16. You can see a file is edited. We're going to do the first one first. I'm just going to overwrite the file on my server. So no changes to server config. We're just going to overwrite the file. This should not work. The server should be just fine, but the client should not work when it comes to this. Now, one thing you might suggest is that I need to go into my client folder and delete this file from my my Rust client. I don't think that that's the case, specifically because the what if scenario. We don't know what if would happen if a client connects to a different server with the same seed. That could obviously cause all kinds of issues. But maybe for the sake of just doing everything the way that I could see it happening, maybe let's do that. So let's go to Steam Apps, Common, Rust, Maps. I don't need any of these. It's okay. My maps within Rust is completely empty. My server is still booting up. Just out of curiosity, see if there's anything funky on here. I don't think we've gotten to loading the map yet. I think that's what we're doing now. All right, loading her up. Should be set. So same server. Let's go back to here just to see what it says. Still says procedural map, and all is well. We should have no Bandit Camp here. Now, if you recall from the beginning of this video, there wasn't any dimple or anything like that that showed where Bandit Camp was, which kind of indicates that the topology had to have been edited, and that's fine. But the topology had to have been edited in some manner just to, we'll say, wipe Bandit Camp off the map. So look at that. We actually really broke this thing. There are no monuments whatsoever on the map. It's confused about outposts. I'm on no click now. could teleport to marker, but it should be right here. All right. So this is what it looks like when you replace the server file with something that's been edited or tampered with. That's kind of cool. Who'd have thought? All right. So that clearly did not work. So now we go back to my Rust server. We're going to shut her down and do, the traditional thing about we modify the map. We're going to go stick this guy on a host, web host. Let me delete that file just because it's not relevant. And we're going to upload this file. So you might wonder, or I kind of wonder if I should keep the 214. I don't think we need to, but for sake of argument, let's keep it. We're going to go to config file, edit, and we're going to comment out these three things because we don't want any type of generation. And I'm going to uncomment this line and change the file name to the one that we just did. Save and exit, and start it back up. All right, game should be ready. For the sake of completeness, a nuclear test, procedural map, with the file name looking thing. Join them up. So we already know that this isn't achieving my goal, but let's at least see if the map loads correctly, or if I just absolutely borked it when I did the edit, which I don't think I did, but you never know. All right, my monuments are back. As expected, outpost is gone. Here's where she used to be. But remember, my goal is not achieved because it says procedural map and all this crap after it. So close, no cigar. The map looks like what it's supposed to. We're not doing what I want. So let's go ahead and stop the server again. And go to File Manager, go back into the server, and it's kind of necessary to wipe everything at this point. Config files, text editor. Typically we don't store version information in the file name. The server does that itself. So let me change that to here, and let me, what was the other thing I did? Change the level URL, or rename this file to not have that, and start it back up. Be running again. We're going to refresh. As you can see, the .214 is gone. Same result. So at the end of the day, I still haven't been able to make the thing say procedural map. Maybe that's by design. I just don't know. I think that level URL overrides all the config in here. That's specifically right here. So yeah, that's about it. If you've got any ideas or any way to help me understand how to make